Hello everyone, this is Nikki from Team True today with,
Alessandro.
and we are going to talk about the Banlist which is going to be coming out soon on the 16th of March. And I'm taking a bit of away, but we have a new format. We want to talk about Alessandro's picks for the ban or for the restricted list, and then mine. And we are going to have an argumentation why this or why that. So yeah, Ale, do you want to explain your list and why do you think that these cards should be getting
Yeah,
hit?
absolutely. So, as Nikki already explained, those are my hits or like my list, and later we'll discuss his list. So, first off, let's start with the top row. I would limit Baumon to 1, and just because, or like for 2 reasons. First off, Logamon can kill you turn 3. It isn't restricted once per turn, so basically, even if you have like just 1 or 2 memory, you can basically do the whole combo because Baumon triggers all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And next, also an argument for Bandai is they are basically a company, so they want to make a lot of money, right? And the new stuff of the Logamon, like the new Fenrir Ace and everything, doesn't get played. And just because the old stuff is too good. So basically, with a restriction to Baumon to 1, you would like remove the old deck style and then potentially open a new deck, like for example, and that they might play the new stuff, the new aces and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And with Baumon still at 4, why should you change your deck, right?
Yeah, and why do you think they won't hit Takemi Kazuchi, the secret rare old one?
I don't think that they will hit it. Just also like the first reason, it's a secret rare, and second, it's like it they need to ban it to like basically destroy the deck, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because if you limit it to 1, it will just like be a luck factor. You can still play the game if you see it nice. You can OTK. If not, yeah, good luck next game. So in my opinion, I would change like the Baumon and just like because also then in the new deck you might even play both, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
Like yeah. So this is my first pick. Next is the Ukumon from BT16. It's like with his little brother, the promo Ukumon. It's just really good. You basically can play it in every deck 4 times. Of course, in some decks it makes more sense than in others. But in my opinion, a card like this shouldn't exist just because like it gives you a free damage. You can still hedge, so you can just do your combo, your stack in the next round, and it can surge. So basically, it's like too much for a rookie, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. And it's basically the like best turn one play that you can have in this game.
Absolutely, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely,
Makes sense.
yeah. Then next is Chuck Rate, and the reason for this is like Purple Hybrid is still a good deck. It's not the best one, but it's still pretty good. And just because like cards like Hammer Spark are limited to 1, then check rate should also be limited to 1. And of course, like in like the first turn, of course, check rate is worse, but after that, check rate becomes even better than Hammer Spark because you can gain potentially 2 or 3 memories. You can recycle it with Matt the Tamer that let you return a option card. In other decks, like let's say for example you play Lilithmon, you can also loop it and everything. So yeah, that's
Mm-hmm.
why I think it should be limited to 1.
Yeah, I think this makes sense because Hammer Spark is also limited.
Mhm.
And yeah, unlike Hammer Spark, you can recycle it and use it more often. Yeah, it just makes sense. If they ban Hammer Spark, Jack Rate should also be
Yeah,
restricted. Mm.
and you can't imagine how I mean I played purple slash yellow hybrid a long time, and you don't know how many games I won just because I had check rate in the security, and it was just so brutal for opponent because I gained 2 memory, and then even though it was in the security, I was able to recover it with Met and then still do the things. Next off, let's go to the right side with X antibody protoform. For me, this card, first of all, shouldn't exist, but it exists now. And in my opinion, this card should be at 1, just because like it does too much. It basically it's like another hammer spark because it reduces the devolution cost by 1, so basically giving you 1 memory. Next, it triggers all of your X antibody Digimon because they always say if this Digimon has like the non-X antibody form in the Digivolution or X antibody, so this card, it gains the bonus effect. So this card also enables it. Then next, it's not even only that, it has a great inheritance effect, which basically lets return a card from the stack, and it even places itself back to the security. So this means if the opponent or you have this and they kill your Digimon, it just goes back to the security, so it gives you 1 extra life, and then it gets added back and you can do it basically again. What I also don't like at this card, it's like if you have multiple, it's like you can also not really play around it, because basically I played against an opponent where they had the stack, and then I thought to myself, okay, let's first go into the security and then destroy the stack so they don't get the protoform in the next turn, but the turn after, or when I try to kill them. And what happened is like they had the protoform already in security, so it got added back, and now they had an infinite loop, right? So yeah.
Yeah, it does too much, I think also. It's like, yeah, reducing, then playing out something. I mean, putting it into security, taking something to the hand, and the worst part is, like, I think the X antibody was concepted that you have a level 5 and then you digivolve onto a level 5 or on the same level, right? But this breaks the whole mechanic
Yeah.
and it
And
speeds
also,
up decks so much.
yeah, and also like I would even argue that if this card didn't have like the inheritance effect that it can be stacked on the security, you would still play this at 4 in the X antibody decks, or like at 3, 2, whatever, just because like it reduces the devolution by 1, and then it also gives you the bonus effect. So in my opinion, it's too much.
True.
Then the next card is our lovely friend Mirage. The reason for this is like it won multiple tournaments. It won the last year's and also the year before's European Championship. This card is really broken. Of course, you can always argue, yeah, the printing new stuff and new decks, of course, but I would just argue like it's also good to keep new things, to keep things fresh, and also like remove some of the old strong decks from the format. So that's why, in my opinion, I would limit it to 1.
I would argue against it because in recent, like with the new sets coming out, it didn't like get played or it didn't win as much. I also played the tournament in it, and yeah, I didn't play so good in our locals. I think I was 2-2, so 2 wins, 2 losses. So it's not that obnoxious anymore with the power level being that high right now. And they didn't really print any new stuff for him. I mean, the last time they really intended to give him a buff is in BT16 with Gaugamon, and he's BT11, and the next Mirage is BT13, which is bouncing a tamer. And okay, if your opponent does not play tamers, you have to somehow bounce or give him a card that you can play out a tamer. And I don't know. I mean, my tamer count in Mirage when I placed top 64 was 3, so it didn't really make sense.
Yeah, I just think like it's also a card that stops them from printing new Mirage or should stop them from printing new Mirage cards, because they to have like an other level 6 that would replace this, to have like keep it at 4 and then not be played in a new Mirage deck, they would have to print such a broken Mirage Galgamon. So that's why I think if they want to like support the deck, or like BT21 is like with all the main characters, so maybe BT22 or 23 is like all the side characters, and that's why I think like they can't really print out new Mirage stuff unless they want to make it even more broken.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And then last but not least, it's not like a limit or ban, but like we saw them do this with other cards. It's like the thing that if you choose to play one card, you cannot play the other card, right? So I would love to have it with Mother D Reaper and Shoto, just because like if you want to play D Reaper or a deck like this, or like an Alliance deck, you can play it, but then you shouldn't be able to play Shoto, just because like for some decks you can't really win against Mother D Reaper. It's just like so brain dead. I also played with the Mother D Reaper Shoto blocker deck, and like I had some opponents with like decks they were able to play around, but I played against some opponents that like they basically couldn't do anything against the 15k unaffected blocker, and that's why I think it's too broken and it shouldn't exist, or like this combo shouldn't exist.
Yeah, I think so too, that it shouldn't exist because yeah, I mean they made Shoto for Vortex, and it makes sense that he when the Vortex Warrior is targeted, you can restand it, and then it has piercing. Otherwise, you give it blocker, so it makes sense for the new decks. But yeah, this combo was just too broken. I think they just didn't see the use case
And the
for the
cra-
Reaper.
and the crazy thing is like, of course, depending on the setup, you can also have like, okay, you go wide, you play multiple Digimon, like one Digimon they can block, but then with the others you can still go to security. The problem was like, turn 3, you have 2 Mother D Reapers out.
Mm.
So this means if you have a second Shoto, you have 2 unaffected blockers each turn.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
that's a bit too crazy, and in my opinion they shouldn't like restrict one of them to one. So the other thing that they did with like you can put both in the decks, I would say makes a lot of sense for this combo.
True.
So yeah, before we go to your list, Nikki, if you have any opinion on my list, let me know in the comments down below, and let's see your list. I'm gonna see it for the first time, so let's
All
see what you
right.
cooked.
So this is my list.
Yeah.
This is really cool that we also have pair ban. So I'll start with this one. So my pair ban would be Met and Duskmon. Um, we've seen that this combo is just too good, and it enables the plays really that you can recycle either Jackraid or Duskmon or whatever you need from your trash, and you basically have two hands. And I mean, this is the concept of purple. I get it, but I think somehow when you have the perfect hand, you win always with purple hybrid, and it's still a really strong deck. And it is a deck that in big tournaments can do a really good job because it's so consistent. You, as I said, you have two hands. You um, play consistently all the time, and that's why I think this pair ban would make sense.
Yeah, for me, in my opinion, it might be a bit overkill, especially because I see on the screen check rate is also there. With check rate like played at 1, I don't know if they're going to play that many mats, if it's even then a 3 or 4 off anymore, or if decided to not play it anymore without check rate. But I mean, we'll see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this is also conflict, but I thought Jack Raid is just a card like Hammer Spark, and they will ban it anyways. Or restrict it.
Yeah.
Restrict it, because I mean Hammer Spark didn't really got hit because of any deck. They just said it was around for too long.
Yeah.
And I mean, let's be honest, it was 2 or 3 sets longer around the check rate, which didn't really matter. So yeah, I think Jack Red is just gonna go like Hammer Spark without any big reason, just because the memory gain effect is too good.
Yeah.
Then Shrine Mode. So I was debating a lot because it is a secret rare, and as we know, they don't really want to restrict secret rares. They're essentially the reason why you buy products, because they're don't get them as often as other cards. So for Bandai, just makes sense not to restrict secret rares. But the Ruin Loop, I mean, the Talmud Loop was not. I think it was not contemplated to play Shine on Ruin mode like this, that you have for multiple turns -5, -10, -15 KDP, and don't let your opponent play. I mean, okay, let's be honest, it's not the most OP deck, I get it. You also have to draw Ruin mode and do the stuff. But if it happens, it's just frustrating to play against. And there's not really an out. I mean, when you play against Red Hybrid or something like that, if you drop Ruin mode, there's nothing that he can do. Like, there's no way to play around it, or other decks. Yeah.
Yeah, and also like your point, of course you have to draw it, but what's broken about Ruin mode also, that's half yellow. So basically, everybody in Talmud Loop is playing for yellow memory boost, for physical training, so basically searchers. And in my latest list that I'm playing, I even play Emperor memory boost just to draw more cards, or like go through the deck faster. So you probably will see Ruin mode unless it's like 3 times in your security.
Yeah, so I think it's too obnoxious, and it was not intended for the Tower Loop to work like this.
Yeah.
That's why I think they're not going to ruin the archetype. They're going to restrict Ruin mode.
Yeah, makes sense.
And one exotic pick is Agunimon, the
Yeah.
promo one. I think that it was there for way too long, and it's too good to be in this format. They're printing so many red hybrid cards that it's just, yeah, they need to hit something. I mean, you can argue, okay, it's not gonna be this much red hybrid cards in. I mean, you just can play 50 cards in a deck, right? You can't take up that much deck space, but just the when attacking is for me too much. You can basically be at 0, attack, digivolve, go into security, do 3 checks, and like, yeah, this is it, right? And it gets deleted. If you have analog youth, you get your turn back. So it's just too much, I think, for this today's meta. And yeah, that's why I think it's going to be.
Yeah, that's a nice pick. Like I could also imagine myself limiting the old BT4 Ancient Greymon to 1. Of course, it would be also another secret rare ban, like restricted, but to be honest, the card is 3 years old, so I guess it's okay to somehow restrict an old card. What's also nice is like if you restrict the old promo Kunimon, you also like intensify to the players, if they want to play Red Hybrid, to play their new stuff and also the new card. So yeah.
True. Then we talked extensively about antibody protoform. This card should not exist. And yeah, I think we talked about it already.
Yeah.
Then Royal Knights of the Purge. So as we know, Royal Knights with the new set is just bonkers. in my opinion, one of the strongest decks right now. And I think it's going to take over, like in the long run, it's gonna take over the ladder, together with Virus Imperial. And just to, I mean, this card costs 6, and you're never gonna pay 6 for it. So you will always gain 3 memory back from the effect of
The
Yggdrasil.
inheritance effect.
Yeah, so I think this is just stupid design. It should have cost 9 then. And yeah, to then play out something for free, yeah, it doesn't make sense for me. And
Yeah.
there's so many when attacking or things like that you don't even care if the on-play effect does not go off.
What's also like really good about this card, it's like it accelerates your deck.
Mm-hmm.
You can also do nice setups, and what's also like or like what was or like how you outplayed or tried to outplay Royal Knights in BT13 was like basically you calculated how much memory they need for something they do. So basically you give them 1 memory too much, so that if they like then play a Craniumon, Gankumon or whatever, they will be at 1 or 0 memory, and then they have, if like they either have to pass you a 3 memory and play inefficient, or like they have to play another card for like a lot of memory. And this was like a how to outplay them, but Royal Knights of the Purge was like a card which blocked this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because basically then you had like a Digimon out, plus you can activate this, get another Digimon under it, and then in the next turn you basically have already 2 sources. So yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, in my opinion, it would make sense to also put it at once, so they could keep all the secret rares and all the rarity super rares, the alternative art. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, what's also like, it's not, there's like nothing that you need to do to enable the delay. With the
Yeah.
new cards, something has to happen. Either your Digimon gets
Trigger condition.
deleted. Yeah, there's no condition to trigger it, right? So yeah, too strong for now, I think. And
Yeah.
for the last card, we talked already about Bauman, but that will be a bit harder on Bauman and or ban it totally. It breaks the whole game mechanic, and for me, it just does not make sense. So I mean, I absolutely love this deck, and I played it high rarity, and I sold it just because I didn't have fun playing it. I mean, I passed memory to 8 or 9 or 10 to my opponent. Then I DNA digivolved, put it back to 3, gained 1 memory, and I
Yeah.
OTK'd him. Like, just saying this out loud does not make any sense.
Yeah.
And
And
this is just due to Bauman.
yeah, and the problem is also like there isn't like even you can't even play around it, right?
No.
Because basically like even if you, let's say you memory choke them at 1, you have like a memory blocker that even if they had like memory boost or something, they still could do the combo, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because it halfway through the combo it just got deleted, and like you said, like okay, you get 1 memory, then 3, then 8, then 9, whatever, and then it just gets bound back to 3. So yeah, this in my opinion doesn't make sense. Like they don't even need that much of a setup. They just need like the Logamon and the Tamer, and yeah.
Yeah, the tamer can be in the trash or in the hand. So
Yeah.
yeah, I was debating like, should they ban Lugamon, the BT14 one? And I was like, nah. I mean, they can keep all the stuff, just not the Bauman.
Yeah, and I mean also like it's they even have a new Baumon which they could play, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. And yeah,
Yeah,
guys.
so
So this was my list. I hope you liked it. Please leave a comment down below. How would you argue about it? If you have any addition. And yeah,
yeah,
thank you for
and
watching.
Thank you for watching. If you want to see our live reaction when the ban list comes out, or also like then a discussion video, you can let us know in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, leave a like, subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.
Goodbye, guys.